Alright, so while this is quiet, figured I would do some reviews for one of my maybe for honestly the only anime I actually watch or have ever watched. Well, not have ever watched. I have watched a lot of the old. I did watch a lot of the old Pokemon anime when I was a kid, but I haven't touched that in like 10 years at least. I think something like that. So yeah, this is gonna be absolute like one of my. I love Initial D, as you're probably telling that you can tell this is Initial D. And this is third stage, which is basically just an entire movie. I'm gonna be talking a bit about like the technical aspects as well as some of the technical aspects as that I understand, but also the like technique, since I'm a huge racing fan and I love the technical details. This feels like it's something out of Initial D arcade, like one of the arcade games. There's my dream car, probably like second favorite car, the S13. First would have to be the 3.2 GTR. Oh, is this a flashback sequence? I haven't seen third stage in forever. I think this is a flashback sequence. Oh yes, the 3-2. So, oh my god, I love that. I really loved the R32 overtake because it is basically it is a textbook overtake, like very similar to, for example, in principle, it's very similar to what Mick Schumacher did to Yuki Tsunoda in Sochi, and I think it was 2021, I think? It was 2020 or 2021. I don't remember. But I'll definitely look it up. I'll show I'll show a clip of that race on screen. But essentially, it's a very simple principle, but actually pulling it off is really difficult. Basically, you get your opponent so focused on blocking you that they end up carrying too much speed into the corner and running wide, so that you can then dip back in dip back to the inside by the time you're exiting the corner, and you have a significantly better run on them. So, Schumacher pulled it off magnificently in Sochi, and the overtake on the R32 was basically the same thing in principle. Oh, and I really like the touches on Usi with the Usi, they talk about how difficult it is, but then they show in the race there's a lot of deceptive corners, which also explains their very Mako and Sayuki's very unique thing of being two people in the same car. So you have a navigator, which is basically useless in any sort of environment where it's easy to see the angle of a corner, like circuit, for example, a normal circuit. But when you're talking rallying, there's a lot of deceptive corners, and that's exactly what they show on Usi. Like, it looks tighter than it is, or looks wider than it is, and that can really catch you out.
그룹 Aの AE101に搭載されていた TRD のエンジンなら NA の
Oh, no fucking way. I didn't actually... I've never done this before. I just decided to look up what the AE101 is. The AE101 Corolla. Holy shit. I've actually driven one of those. I knew it was a Corolla GT Apex, but I actually drove one of those at work once. It's just tires on it, or a single tire. But oh my god, I actually drove one of those. Holy shit. That's pretty cool.
今日一のミスファイアリングシステムと互角の戦いができる
So I find it funny that they call it a misfiring system. I don't know if that's just a translation that I don't know why they call it that, but to translate for anyone outside of Japan, it's basically an anti-lag system. So, you know, pretty good for what it is. Yeah, pretty reasonable that Kyuichi would have that. It's just funny they always call it a misfiring system. That's both the English and Japanese versions.
5086こっちは350馬力だ
Oh my god. Every single time I see the Evo do a cornering drift like that, oh my god, it is just an incredible sight. So, but the common, like, and this is particularly true once you have an anti-lag system like Kyuichi does, but the acceleration that the Evo has in low gears, and this is true of basically every generation of the Evo, not just the Evo 3 like he has, but it's insane to watch those accelerate in a low gear, like, because like second up to about third gear they just rip. It is ridiculous. It is insane. I actually I'll see if I can, like, I've used, like, I remember in Horizon 3, this is the only time I have been able to push an Evo hard. I've seen them pushed hard plenty of times, but never, of course, been able to do it in real life myself. But, you know, you sort of just have to, based on my experience from that, you just have to basically point the car towards the exit of the corner as you enter, and then just step on the gas once you reach the apex. That's basically it. And the car will just go, no matter how much you're sliding.
俺のカウンターアタックからは絶対に逃げられない
Kyuichi's counterattack is also really good. It's basically textbook circuit technique, as they say in the show, actually.
このコース最大の落とし穴は
I'll talk about it more once it actually shows up.
この勝負もらった
So basically, the Kyuichi's counterattack is basically a very simple technique in principle. In execution, it is incredibly difficult and requires a lot of setup in proper homologated racing and whatnot. But you know, on the streets, you have a lot more freedom working for you, so you could actually, you know, you could do things that would never be possible in a professional race. But basically, it's a very simple principle. So you can see there's a bit of a chicane here, right and then left. So what he does is he takes the outside, because any decent racer is going to leave a little bit of a gap on the outside when they've got someone close behind them, because, you know, if your opponent takes the inside, you're done. Like, gets a good grip on the inside, you're done at that. You give up that corner. You just have to hope you can find somewhere else to overtake them back. But what you do is basically, you can only pull this off if you have a pretty significant grip advantage, or if your opponent is pretty stupid. But the vast majority of the time you see it done, it's because of a grip advantage. In racing, you'll see, like, maybe the defending driver has a harder compound of tires than the attacking driver, or maybe they're just their tires are more worn, something like that, or maybe there's a little bit of aero damage. You might see, like, you know, so that's hurting their grip. Basically, you go on the outside on corner entry, and then at the start of a chicane, and then first part you're on the outside, but you have enough. But if you've set this up right, you have enough grip to make it work. So that the second part, you're on the inside, and with that superior grip, you can just pull away from your opponent and leave them in the dust. There's nothing they can do. So yeah, it's a very hard thing to pull off in practice. But yeah, like you said, the moment he pulled alongside, it was over. But
何バカが CK かオーバースピードだ曲がれくれ曲がる曲がってくれ俺の86
but yeah, if you pull it off right, then yeah, it is completely impossible to defend against, because the situation that requires that it requires to attempt it safely basically means that there's nothing you can do to defend. Yeah, because that's the thing. An MR layout does have better acceleration. That's why it's such a popular thing for racing, and why, the entire Formula series, all mid-engine, at all levels, because it's just a better layout. That's why it's so common. But the power difference is massive between, the racing 7AG versus the base 4AG that's in the SW20 here. So, the MR2 would probably have the jump out of up to the top of first gear, but after that the 8.6 would just have the power advantage, and the power advantage really come into play. I mean,
確かにこいつはまともな86じゃない。2リッターの 3S よりもパワーがある。相手を先行させてから追い抜くことは KO 勝ちだと親父は言った。
2S. Oh, so does he have the... Oh, he might have the MR2 Turbo. In which case the power would actually be pretty comparable, I think? I don't know. Actually, no, I think the 7AG would still have a bit more of a power advantage, so... What I said still holds true. Like, the 8.6 would be on the back foot up until about second gear, and then... Oh, non-turbo, okay. Then the 8.6 would definitely have the advantage up to in second gear and up. They created a very detailed computer program, or visual of a computer program for this. Yeah, left foot braking is really difficult to do in a manual car. Well, in a foot clutch car. But you can absolutely do it. I mean, plenty of V8 supercar drivers do it. Or yeah, it's difficult, but it is doable. And if the guy's used to karts, then he would probably have done that. If he's used to shifter karts, he would have done that quite a bit. Well, that was interesting. So, hold on, let me just scroll back a little bit. No. Okay, let me see if I can show you this. There's kind of an interesting thing they showed in the animation. Okay, first up. So, yeah, you see he's on a really far inside line. So, he's taking a weirdly... so, Kogashiwa here is taking a weirdly tight inside line for this, while Takumi is trying to deliberately unsettle the car so he can drift around this hairpin here. But Kogashiwa is taking a weirdly tight inside line, which actually makes sense for what he's trying to do. He's giving himself more braking room. Because to take as tight of a corner as what you're about to see, you would need to brake much, much earlier than Takumi does. Obviously, being able to accelerate like that is kind of ridiculous and unrealistic, but I like that they apply some real logic to it in terms of the setup. Yeah, the setup for that also showcases something which is pretty good about the later seasons. After season 1, they got the animation significantly better, so the cars actually move differently. Like you saw in the corner entry, as as they're braking into the corner, the MR2 suddenly speeds up, or relative to the 8.6. Looks like they speed up relative to the 8.6 and they close up really quickly. Whereas in the first season, they basically just moved in sync because they were probably just copying. The animators were probably just copying the same code from one car to the other, or just putting a different model on it, which I understand, low budget, technical limitations, whatnot. It's just really nice that they did eventually improve that, so that they actually moved separately. Like that. You see, they're actually taking slightly different lines and moving separately. Yeah, you would need, like, you know, full slicks to pull off something like that. To have the tires bite so quickly to make a move like that, and even then it would be very dubious. And then you got obviously the suspension issue. Like, holy shit, that 8.6 must have some absurdly stiff suspension, because it did not lean at all on landing. No fucking way, that actually... What is he gripping on? What was he gripping on there? That was... there's just a tiny little lip. Oh my god. Okay, that's absurd. God. See, here's the funny thing about this show, is like, there is such an impressive level of attention to detail in some things, and then they just go completely fucking fantasy with, like, you know, replicating the gutter run when there's just this tiny little, like, I don't know, fucking 10 millimeters of concrete to grip on. Of curved concrete, actually, because the edge of the road is curved. Because, oh my god. That's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, I'm glad I haven't seen this in so long, because I get a completely natural reaction to that sort of stuff. What the fuck? Fucking gold. That's kind of funny. The English one, he says, you got the last thing Itsuki says, you got time to lean, you got time to clean. It's interesting that they just made a different line completely for the English version. Oh. This asshole. This I remember very well. I mean, anytime there's a scene like this, it always pisses me off because, yeah, it's... like, the guy is a total piece of shit. I just want to punch the fucking screen every second he's on screen. Yeah, and there's the move. Yeah, I'm just gonna let this scene play on its own because it's really satisfying to watch this asshole get his shit handed to him.
嘘だろ。早すぎる。
匠君来てくれた。夏希のために。
こんな車がと思ったら古のポンコツじゃねえか。この程度の乗り継ぎはわめくんじゃねえ。夏希、残念だったな。あの車じゃこいつについてくんのは無理だ。
匠君ならついてくれるもん。運転うまいから。
話になんねえや。うまい下手の問題じゃねえんだよ。こっちは 4WD だぜ。4WD が雪道に強いのは世界の常識なんだよ。雪道でこれだけの猛スピードで、あと角3つの曲がりゃ藤原の車は見えないぐらい遠く。こんなバカな。くそ。ありえねえ。4WD があんな FR のポンコツに。
車のせいじゃないよ。運転が遅いだけかも。
何？てめえよくも俺をそこまでこけに。
前見てないと事故るよ。
くそ、近所のウコじゃあるめえし、これならすぐだ。
ダメだ。
離れね
やっぱりすごい。
アキラの頃とは比べ物にならないほど進化している。不思議なものだ。お前と走っていると反省しているつもりの俺の走りにまた新しいものが見えてくる。バトルをしていてこんなに楽しい気分になるとは。
何か吹っ切れた。この人についていけばいいんだ。